welcome. I think it's fair to say that right now is one of the best times to discover some indie games out there. And a fair chunk of those indie games tend to be horror games. Some good, some okay, and some absolutely amazing. And this one falls into the amazing category, the Coma 2 Vicious Sisters. It's a Korean game with that sort of anime-esque art style. I don't know if any of the stories based on any Korean legends or anything like that, because I don't know much about the culture of that country. I mean, I've watched Squid Games and saw that episode of Family Guy where they went there.
American Johnny!
That's a good episode. But I digress. You shouldn't judge an entire culture by those two programmes. So if you know, let me know in the comments. But whether it's completely made up or based on something, it doesn't matter. What it is absolutely fantastic. I've spoken before on this channel about how a story is so important to me with a game. And when you have got an indie game with a bit of a stripped back art style and a simpler style of gameplay, the story becomes even more important. And this honestly kept me hooked from start to finish. And there is some replay value, as there are two potential endings. And it is worth getting them both, just to see them both, because the story is that good. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First of all, it's worth mentioning that whilst this is a sequel, by the number 2 in the title, you can play it without having played the first one, because that's exactly what I've done. I haven't played the first one at all. I spotted this on an eShop sale on the Switch for, I think it was around £3 or £4, gave it a go, and boy, am I glad I did. It does go on sale regularly as well, so you can pick it up for a nice little bargain price. Throughout the story, you control a high school student called Mina Park, and there are various settings, including the high school itself, subway station, and a hospital, and a very creepy market, but you'll get to see those yourself when you play it. And you do meet various NPCs throughout, who are all integral to the story, and actually some of them flush themselves out really well. After a relatively brief opening sequence where you meet some of the characters, Mina falls asleep in the school and wakes up, and everything seems to be just, well, creepy, quite frankly. And the people you meet seem to be acting very strange. Turns out you're in what's called the Coma. Think of it as an alternative dimension, a very creepy, dark one with things around every corner that want to kill you. It's also very dark, as in actually there's not a lot of light there, so mainly you use a lighter to mark your way. You do not have any combat in this game. You can dodge and run past enemies and hide. When the vicious sister or one of her cronies are after you, your only option is run away, dodge her when you can, break eye contact, get into a room and hide somewhere. You'll then find quick time events, which are used for all sorts of things, whether it be that you're hiding to hold your breath so the vicious sister or crony doesn't know you're there, or to craft an item, various different things. They use them quite well. They're not too difficult, but you will find that things get quite tense, and I messed up a few, but that just added to the tension and the enjoyment of the game and added to the atmosphere as well. At core, it's a survival horror game. You're wandering and exploring halls and rooms and streets and shops, wherever you may be on the map at the time. You have to find various ways to get in through certain doors to get access certain areas, be it be to find a secret underground passageway, a code to a door, or a key to a door. You also can craft items along the way. You'll find them from NPCs and various places through exploration, and these will help you in the long run. But no spoilers, I'm not going to tell you what you find and how you use it. Although you don't start with one, you do find a map in each location, and that is infinitely helpful. It really is. There are also vending machines. These can be used with coins that you will find. Now, there's not a huge amount of these coins, so don't go spending willy-nilly. You're not on a shopping spree, but you can get items that will add to your health and to your stamina. Because yes, you do have a stamina bar, and should you run out of stamina when you're trying to run away to save your life, Well, that's only going to end in one way, isn't it? Bloody. Save points are accessed with a book where you write your name. Your true name has a power in the Coma, so to write it, you remember it. That's the reasoning behind it. These are spread out well. They're not so frequent that the game loses all difficulty, but they're not so far spread apart that it becomes too much of a grind as well. Because I did find myself dying quite a bit, be it that I was getting caught by the vicious sister, messing up a quick time event, or as you wander through the halls, various things do try and kill you, be they demons underneath desks or shadows dropping from the ceiling, and there are some very strange looking things which stalk you as well. So, although you get 5 health bar points and you think that's plenty, they can be depleted very quickly if you don't approach things cautiously. Be warned, do not just wander down the hallway without a care in the world. That's a very quick way to lose health and ultimately lose the game. Ultimately, as a survival horror, this does encourage you to use your brain box a little bit. You'll pick up as you go along various clues as to what to do. The torn pages which you're seeing here, they're a diary which, as you read each page, it will make sense as the story progresses. Again, no spoilers here. But you'll also find memos and sticky notes which will help you figure out what to do at future events. It will also give clues as to where things are. So there's a part of it where you're in the school and you need to try and track down a laptop. You find a sticky note which gives you a clue as to what they were doing and why they were using a secret laptop and where it might be hidden. You collect these clues as you go. There is some hand-holding like there is in most modern games, but I don't think it goes over the top. I do still find that you have to use your brain just a bit, and some of the puzzles are actually quite devious. They're very simple but surprisingly difficult, and it will have you reaching for your phone being very tempted to check out a little tutorial or get the answers. But the puzzles do add a nice extra element, and with this being a non-combat game, the extra mechanics really do help make a difference. Anything to stop something feeling repetitive and break things up, in my mind, is a good thing, as long as it's well done, of course. The real tension is when you're running, like you see there, trying to find somewhere to hide. You'll go to doors, some will open, some will be locked, some you can access later, be it through a key card you find, or a physical key, or a combination code, or various other means. And it is also worth, especially if you want to get both endings, going back to areas even if you're not prompted to, because you'll find various tools along the way which will help you access areas which you couldn't do otherwise because you didn't have the right tool you needed. Last thing you will find in the Coma as well are portals. These act as sort of fast travel points, I suppose you'd say. And again, they work and they just keep the game flowing. I want to go back to the story here because as much as the gameplay is done well, I think it's all about the pacing. This could have easily become a very repetitive game with the same mechanics being done over and over again. But whoever wrote it and paced it did such a fantastic job. They keep the tension, they stop it getting boring, you're eager to find out what's happening next. I played through this, I think it's 10 or 12 hours in 2 days because I just couldn't wait to find out what was happening next, even though I knew I probably needed to go to sleep because it was the early hours of the morning and I was going to be grumpy. But I didn't, and that's the mark of a good game. If it keeps you wanting to play, to see what happens next, or just because you're having a good time, that's a good game in my book. And this one is absolutely brilliant. I think, as I said, I think it was around £4 on the eShop in the sale, and it goes on sale regularly. 10 to 12 hours of gameplay for £4, not a bad deal if you ask me. And this is an absolute gem. So much so, I'm going to get the first one and play through that because I want more of the Coma. Let me know what you think in the comments if you like this game, or if you're just not a fan. I'm open to different opinions, always like to hear what you guys think, and I'll see you next time. Ta-da for now.